Hey guys, it's Nate, aka TheFutAccountant. Welcome back to the channel. Yes, you guys know I was able to come to Vancouver once again this year and play EAFC 27 early, literally sitting at the desk of the developers who are still fine tweaking the polishing of the FC27 game that is going to be coming out in September, asking them questions about it and watching them make changes live in action while sitting there and playing the game with them and kind of explaining things about how we feel about it and what we think these new changes to the game are going to bring. So I'm going to bring you my unique experience today, talk about what I saw, what I was able to hear and discuss, and even who I was able to meet. I met the guy who changed the descriptions for playstyles and adjusted and reduced how overpowered playstyles are in FC. Pretty crazy. So I'm going to just kind of give you my perspective on that today, but also I'm going to give you my perspective on how I think this gameplay needs work and how I think as a whole, FC27, even with things talked about in regarding Ultimate Team, but especially with gameplay, is underwhelming in some ways. I want to talk about that because I think that's where a lot of people right now are feeling underwhelmed, and why people may not be happy is because the game doesn't feel drastically different. I know, like FC26 2.0, there's some validity to that. Let's discuss everything, guys. If you're excited for this one, drop a thumbs up in the video, hype the video, and subscribe if you are new. Now, I don't want to just go through the videos and the pitch notes that have already been released because we've already talked about that. You guys have already seen some of that. I will use some of the videos to help explain what I've felt while playing FC27, so I think that's a good thing to kind of show just for visual effect. And where should we start? Well, we should start first with the attacking AI. I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and I even posted a couple of other pieces of content talking about the new attacking and contextually curved runs. Basically what they're saying is they've made attacking runs and attacking players smarter because they will actually run into space. And I can say you notice this because your player just isn't running straight into the back line of the defense when you make them go on a run. They will still make those triggered runs, but now triggered runs are also going to be curved. And I think this is one of the biggest parts of attacking gameplay that you're going to notice. Like, watch here. This attacker, when triggered, he's still in a space to make a solid run in between those two defenders, but the defender, has pulled his player out of position, and that attacker can run into that with a triggered run. These are very, very game-changing for the attack. So I would highly recommend getting used to using L1, R1 together, and then the pass and follow, which is L1, R1, and then pass, like you see right here, like boom, L1, R1 pass created that run around the back. And when that attacker got in, as you can see there, L1, R1, press pass with the midfielder out to the winger. He follows, overlapping, and then boom, you've got a guy who's kind of coming in behind, and it opens up the attack in a different way. And there's a couple different examples of that. So that is, ooh, that was cheeky. You're going to have to really get used to this. It's another kind of feature that is a skill gap, but it's basically what people were trying to do in these last couple of years with player lock. Now you allegedly don't have to player lock as much to get your players in the position that you want them to be in. They are just smarter, and they will make those runs more automatically. The last thing we got to talk about in relation to the attack is this offside awareness, because this screwed me up so many times when I was playing the game. And I was even talking to the developers about this as I was sitting at their desks and playing, is when you think you're offside and it looks close, but you think you're off. In FC26, I would stop playing, or maybe R2, L2 and let the ball run through my attacker's feet just so that play would continue and I wouldn't get the offside call. You don't want to do that in 27 because your player will hold their run. You saw it there, curved run as well. They'll curve their run to stay onside, and you will be onside a lot more than you think. And so you kind of have to trust it because you will, that looks close, right there. That even in that video, you're like, oh man, I'm probably off, and you might stop playing. You can't stop. In FC27, you got to keep playing because a lot of times you're still onside, and getting those passes through is the next thing I want to discuss, because as we talked about a lot in FC26, through balls were very overpowered. And as you kind of see in some of these clips, you see through balls that make their way in behind the defense, and it looks like through balls are kind of OP again, or at least pretty meta. Through balls are still very good, but they're much more manual. There was many times where I would place a pass incorrectly and it would be intercepted because I placed the pass very incorrectly. You have to kind of use a skill and learn a skill to know where that player is making the run and then kind of aim the pass where you want to aim it. Because like right here where this guy's lining up the pass, I know they're going to pass it to this winger out here, but you could also hit the striker right here. And then the striker, once he gets the ball, he could deliver a through pass if he has the space from this defender in this way. Like, you could directionally aim a pass for a through ball after the fact. Or even like, let's say this guy gets the ball right here, and you would like want to pass to the far post instead of passing to the striker right here. You could do a through pass if you're aiming it here and kind of putting maybe 2 bars of power on it instead of 1. It would go right there and you would pass it to that player. There's going to be a new kind of through ball, I wouldn't say meta, but just a new way that you have to use through balls and use your ability to see the pitch to kind of unlock some of those new runs. And so through passes are still very good. Tiki-taka passing is still very good as well, but through passes are more manual. That's the thing that I noticed, and I want you guys to notice as well. The last thing, and really don't have a video for this, but the last thing that was very noticeable in the attack was the attacking turns. I forget what they exactly called it. Attacking turn responsiveness. The player turns faster, and animations would sometimes slow down the player to make him look good, but they are much faster. Like when you have Harry Kane or Mbappe is maybe a better example, standing, waiting for a pinged pass to his feet to turn and go. Not a through ball, but like a ping pass or a tiki-taka. He doesn't have to like slowly collect the ball and then turn and go. He's like boom, boom. So this is going to help, I think, with a lot of attackers being caught up to by defenders. I think it's going to happen less in FC27 from what I experienced. It already was. So that's the attacking change that I noticed. Now let's talk about defending as well, because this is maybe where I had one of the most unique experiences out of anybody else that has played FC27. I sat at the desk of the developer who showed me the difference between an AI-controlled interception and a user-controlled interception. You can't quite see it right here in this video, but what he was showing me is the circle radius that is on every single player in the game, which is kind of like their field of action. And when it is a user-controlled player, so like on the right here, this user-controlled midfielder who's about to make this interception, imagine a circle on the ground kind of below him and surrounding him. His reach, which is that circle, is 3 times, maybe even 4 times the size of the AI player. So when you're playing in that kind of test bed mode, which is what this is right here, looking at the interceptions, you can see the circle is like just outside the shoulders of this AI controlled player. For the user controlled player, it is huge. And that's why you see in this example, this player can't get to the ball. This player can. That's inside his circle of reach, so he ends up getting the interception and gets the ball. That was eye-opening. That was eye-opening to really put into perspective how much more manual defending is important this year. It's the tackling range too. Like anything that gets inside of that circle, if the ball goes through that, you are going to get it. So I like everything that has been talked about in terms of the AI being nerfed and the manual aspect of gameplay being buffed. I think that is good. I'm curious to see if there are things that are a problem like tackle spamming. I was trying to tackle spam. I was trying to spam Bruiser. I was wondering if those things were OP. I'm a little more worried about tackle spam than I am worried about Bruiser because, guys, Bruiser, if you actually spam it, I know this is a big point of contention right now with how things looked in FC26 compared to 27. If you spam Bruiser, we learned this yesterday in the interview with the EA dev, it will actually slow your defender down and you will have a less chance of winning the ball back. So I don't think we have to worry about Bruiser as much. It's definitely not as OP. It still works, but it is nowhere near as OP as it was in FC26. And in regards to tackling and spam tackling, it does seem like there's some different sticky scenarios, but the guy who I was sitting down with looking at the interceptions and the circles around the bottom of the players, kind of their reach and how they interact, user controlled versus AI, he was the guy that was literally, as I was playing a game against him, would pause the game and fix the game and like say, you know what, we're going to record this and we're going to be changing the way this goes here, because there were a couple of tacklebacks, or there were a couple of bad touches after a user-controlled interception that would result in a tackleback. He's like, yep, we're going to have to study that, find the areas where that happens, and change the outcome of that, because that is an interception that player should make, and the attacker should not be able to tackle that back. So that's one of the coolest things that I saw from playing the game at a developer's desk. I think the AI defending versus the manual defending change in FC27 is very good, but as we kind of talked about, these are two big things that they're advertising for the game this year, but they're not like crazy new features. On one hand, it shows that they're confident of where they've got dribbling, where they've got passing, which are still both very good. Left stick is just as good in FC26. Passing, I would even say, is even better. I wasn't even using the new corner tactics. I was just tiki-taking my way short into the box, and then it almost felt like a corner glitch when I was doing that. So passing, dribbling is very good. So I like the way that they're standing on business with that, and they're happy with that. And I think we're happy with passing and dribbling, or at least I am with where it's at. But it doesn't feel like they're adding in any huge new groundbreaking, game-breaking features to gameplay. And that's the thing that I feel like we're maybe feeling a little disappointed about. One last thing on AI versus manual defending is jockey responsiveness. This is so helpful when manually defending the left stick dribblers. You can move not quite as fast as the dribbler. There's still an advantage to the dribbler, I would say, but you can move a whole lot faster, and it is noticeable. And guys, I actually have one really interesting piece of news to share with you guys about jockeying. What do you think the stat on a card is that controls the speed with which you jockey? I had to think about this. An EA dev asked me. I was like, it wouldn't be like, acceleration, because you're not sprinting. What would it be? It's defensive awareness. Defensive awareness, from what I've been understood to be known, is a very important and very crucial stat in a lot of different ways of how defending works inside of Ultimate Team and regular gameplay when there's stats involved. But defensive awareness is the speed aspect of your jockeying, and what stats are going into that jockey scenario. Also, defensive awareness is involved in interceptions. Reactions are involved in interceptions as well. As of right now, that might change, they said, in terms of stat breakdowns. But that was one thing that I found out that was very interesting as we were kind of talking about jockeying there. Now, next thing I want to discuss is off-balance dribbling. You guys have already heard me talk about this. This is something that I am looking forward to, but also at the same time wondering if it's going to be super overpowered for those players that are high agility, high balance, and high dribbling. 85 or above in all those stats gives you these kind of stumble animations where you actually stay on the ball. Now, I think this is one thing that they have added. As they said, it's kind of modeled after Musiala and Pedri in real life, and other players, of course, are going to do this as well. But it's kind of modeled after making the game feel more unique and more set apart for players. Because right now, it feels like in FC26, especially with the Playstyles lab, everybody is customizing players to look the exact same. You're making a striker, you're giving them rapid, you're giving them finesse, and you're giving them maybe like low driven, right? Or something like that. Right now, with the way Playstyles are and the way we kind of play FC26, there's a huge focus on just what is the most meta, and there's less focus on what makes this player unique. And I think adding in that off-balance dribbling is one of the ways where they're trying to make each player more unique, which, you know what, I kind of like that. I was thinking about that a minute. I was like, I think FC gameplay has gotten too robotic in the past couple of years. I think a lot of you guys would agree with that. And I want some of the uniqueness back to those players. Like, I want Vinny to look like Vinny. I want Mbappe to look like Mbappe. So I think that off-balance dribbling helps with that for those specific players when we're talking about that. So the last thing I want to discuss here is Playstyle's balancing, because here's another really cool opportunity that I had. I sat at the desk of the EA producer who himself updated the descriptions of the playstyles and also updated the reduction in the performance gap between the Playstyle and Playstyle Plus. All that we see inside of here, I sat down at his desk, and guys, I played a game against him. He was using a full team of 88 to 93 rated cards with base Playstyles and 2 Playstyle Pluses. I played a game against him with a full team of the same rating of players, 88 to 93, that had 0 Playstyles. And I noticed a slight disadvantage a slight disadvantage, but it was still very playable. My Del Piero, I was using a Del Piero card that was like 93 rated with 93 shooting, passing, dribbling, and pace. He was really good, and he still dribbled insane, and he still hit good shots and was passing very well without having finesse shot or low driven or rapid or incisive or tiki-taka or anything like that. So I think that is good to have more of an emphasis on the stats of the card, but it does make the playstyles still feel unique and still necessary in a way. But it also, as they kind of said here, doesn't make them feel like they are the most important thing on the card. So that is really nice to hear. It's going to take time before we really understand how that's going to work out. And again, guys, a lot of people have talked about Bruiser. Bruiser, as I said earlier, didn't need to be mentioned in here. After hearing the EA producers talk about that a lot and then playing the game myself, I know Bruiser is still OP in FC26. Bruiser is not as OP in FC27, so I don't think it is that big of an issue that it's not involved in here. And also, I wanted to point out pinged pass. This was one of the specific playstyles that producer had just changed and he was telling me about. He said that they removed the effect that slightly reduced the trap error on the pass receiver. No wonder pinged passes were so overpowered this year, last year, because if you read the description of a pinged pass, I forgot about this, the pinged pass is a faster pass along the ground, but also if you had ping pass, it automatically helped the receiver of that pass to make a better first touch. That's kind of crazy because why is a pass that player is good at making also affecting the way that it's being received? So that's like the first touch play style on somebody who's receiving the ball kind of being used in with the ping pass. That's no longer. If it's a ping pass, it doesn't help your player receive it anymore. And I think that's why pinged was one of the reasons why pinged pass was maybe as OP as it was, because it actually helped you receive the ball as well. So I found that very, very interesting. So last thing to kind of talk about here, there were 4 new skill moves. The step over combo, the fake turn, ball roll spin, and kneel header. I don't know how to do those. We're probably going to have to wait for some more updates on how to actually do those. But the kneeling header, you did have to have Trickster playstyle for. Trickster or Trickster Plus was the only way that you could do the kneeling header, which of course is going to be hilarious when that happens in game. And the very final thing I want to talk about with gameplay is that they are going to add, and this was mentioned in the interview that I had yesterday with Jilly, they are going to add different game modes into FC27 that will have different levels of gameplay. Yes, you heard me correctly. It's almost like gameplay is content in a way. Think about it like they could release a limited time live event game mode that shows you gameplay and what it was like in FIFA 17, for example. This is kind of around the question that I asked the producer about what does he think about the whole FIFA 17 and the classic FIFA resurgence, which I am so excited to get home and to play some of that because I haven't been able to yet. I'm really looking forward to it. But he said that he loves it, and he said that's one of the things they're going to be able to do this year is bring out different types of gameplay is almost like content. And that's really interesting. That's really, really, really interesting. I'm kind of hesitant to know how that's going to work. Like, are they going to give people like 99 pace, or are they going to make everybody lengthy for a game mode, or are they going to like think of it as they're moving the sliders? So I'm very curious about that and how gameplay will kind of turn into content through live events. And I'll also, of course, be very curious to know how are they going to try to emulate how FIFA 17 or FIFA 15 felt like in 2027. Do they have the old game code where they can just like, hey, this is FIFA 15, Control C, Control V? Or are they going to have to just like play FIFA 15 and then play FC and then try to like, you know what I mean? That's the thing that I don't know how it is going to work out. But gameplay thoughts overall, how would I wrap this up? How would I describe my trip? First of all, I would say the passion from the EA developers, they care so much about the game. You guys saw it. A lot of people are making fun of it, but it's true. These guys really do love the game and they work really hard on it. And I hope that they continue to share. I mean, I said this last year too, and then it failed, right? They said that it failed. They were very open about that. TheFutAccountant was open about that as well. I hope this year they can share more information and continue to show us like why it takes so long to do a patch, or how they are explaining what patches and changes they're making. Obviously, that first patch of the year I asked him about, and he gave a decent answer for that, but like at the same time, not the best answer ever. So there's just things with that I'm hoping that they're able to be more transparent this year, but we will see. And overall, yeah, final thoughts, as I mentioned, overall, like, I am excited for it because it does feel different. But the thing that I keep coming back to is it doesn't feel like it's a drastically different game with a whole bunch of new features. And I think that might turn some people off to it. They're going to say it's FC26 2.0. But what I hope to feel after playing this game more when it comes out is the rewarding aspect. Like, it did feel more rewarding to have your AI making those different and unique runs. It did feel more rewarding that defending was more manual and that you were in control more than you have ever been before of making tackles and stuff like that. So I'm excited for it. I'm a little nervous for it as well, just because, like, I want to see how it works out. I want it to be good. But I'm also hesitant. So anyways, guys, that's kind of my thoughts after being able to sit down and play FC27 at some of the producers' desks and talk with them about it. I will say this, there was a whole bunch of people here. There was a whole bunch of guys. I'm not going to name them just because if they don't want to be named or not, but like creators and people from the community that spent hours more than me at the EA desks, like helping them fine tweak things like team press, teammate contain, offside trap. There was so much of that was going on, and it was really cool to see some pro players that are here as a part of this actually help change and make FC27 a better game and show the developers their specific aspects of gameplay that they noticed while testing it that seemed to be too OP or not good enough. So a lot of good stuff that came out of this. I'm going to still be able to talk about a lot of content that we were able to learn about here in Vancouver as FC27 does draw closer. So that's another YouTube video for us today, but I appreciate you guys watching, appreciate all the love and support, and I understand the frustration from a lot of you guys as well. I am not being paid to say any of this. This is my honest, true thoughts. I was not paid to come here. They covered the hotel and food and allowed us to go in to play the game early. That's all that I got. And the opportunity to do unique content like this, which, to be fair, half the stuff gets leaked anyway. So is this really a unique content opportunity? I'll let you decide that for yourselves. But I love you guys, man. Thank you for the support, and I will see you in another YouTube video at the same time later today. Have a good one. It's been TheFutAccountant. See you there. Peace.